Hey Greenwood, Robert Stevenson with Greenwood Calendar. I am here again with Sheriff Dennis Kelly. We're going to ask some questions. I posted that I was going to come here and speak and asked if you had any questions. I wrote most of them down here, and anybody else, if I didn't get to it, feel free to contact the Sheriff's Office. How are you?
Good.
It's good to see you.
Good. Good morning.
Happy New Year. Okay, so I think the question I got the most deals with cold cases like Kenneth Hughes and Rhonda Kelly. That wouldn't be a county issue.
That's a city case, missing person with the city, but we also, if we get any leads on that as well, we relay the information to the city, and we work in conjunction on any kind of case, the city or the county. If we get any information, we share the information, but we always, if it's something new that we hadn't checked out before, we always look into it.
Okay, so tell us about the Kenneth Hughes case.
Yes, since he went missing, we got together. We've used helicopter searches, drones, on the ground searches, doing grid searches with EMS, fire department, sheriff's office people. We've used our bloodhounds, our tracking dogs. We've had other cadaver dogs come out to check different places. We've used underwater cameras. We've checked the rock quarry with the camera in the water. We've checked several wells. Every lead that we've got on that case, we follow up on it. Somebody has something new, or even if they don't know whether we have the information or not, if they'll contact us, we will validate and check out the leads we get on that.
Okay.
But we've done, and we continue to look. If we get any leads, we've been to some ponds to check. We got some information that might be there, and but so far we've not had any leads that led us to find it.
Do you feel like somebody out there knows something you'd like to hear from them?
I would think so. Just about any time anybody's missing, somebody knows something, and they might not think it means a whole lot, but it might just be a little bit of information that points us in the right direction that we don't have.
Okay.
And so if they got any information or any ideas, or have heard something from somebody, if they have hearsay and third party and they didn't hear a certain person say this, sometimes it's hard to follow up on, but we get those and we follow up on them. And then it turns out, so far in this case, that we couldn't link them to anything suspicious or lead us to where he is. So.
Okay.
But we're continuing to look, and if they have any information, we'd be glad to check out their lead.
Okay. Well, thank you. I realize Sheriff's Office doesn't make the laws, you enforce the laws. What do you think your office or Greenwood can do to help reduce drugs and gang violence?
Well, what I do as a sheriff and in law enforcement, because we have uniform officers out there working, and we work the high crime areas where we know the guns are mostly, and our shootings are drive-by shootings. And then I have a drug unit. My drug guys are out there working undercover, working those areas as well. But we have meetings with we got a Greenwood Abbeville coalition where we meet with people and professionals that deal with people with addictions, and we're trying to help those people with their addictions and give them information. We have a gratitude gathering at a church for people that has addiction problems and recovering addicts that come out. So we're doing things in the community. We got also with the Chamber of Commerce, we got a consortium that meets to try to help with all kind of issues in our community. So we're doing things other than just law enforcement, but in the end, we want people to be productive citizens and get a job, and we don't want to lock everybody up. We want them to be a part of our community and a helpful part of our community.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Greenwood Calendar publishes the Greenwood County Detention Center arrest reports. You can go through there just about every day. Well, it is every day, but over the weekend, we don't publish it. On Monday, you'll see Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's on Greenwood Calendar arrest reports, and about 18 or 20, and you'll see drugs and nonviolent crimes, a mixture of those. So you can keep up with it that way as well. So, but it's nice to hear about, in addition to the arrest, there's programs to solve the issue.
Right. Yeah, we also, we try to get them information. 911 center has all the information on where people can get help from different things, from homeless to needing food to addiction issues, whatever, and we try to inform them. We also give them Narcan if they're having an addiction. When they leave the detention facility, we will give them some Narcan as well for free of charge, or a family member even if they're not in here for drug violation, if they still have a family member, knows somebody that has an addiction, they can get the Narcan.
Okay.
So if it hadn't been for the Narcan, we would have a lot more deaths than we do. But it's just a national issue right now. The fentanyl and the opioid addiction is something like we had never seen, before with the crack, the meth, cocaine. You have the deaths you have with this fentanyl. So it's something new, and it's a nationwide addiction issue that we have. And like I said, we're trying to work with all different divisions in our community to try to get these people some help and get them off the pills and the alcohol. Alcohol's another issue that causes a lot of people a lot of grief.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. The question was raised: do you have enough officers to patrol and to do what you need to do?
Well, of course, it'd always be good to have a few more officers. More officers out there. Being seen, deters crime. We doing okay, but we would like to in the future, get some more officers out there.
Because you handle all over Greenwood County, Troy, wherever.
450, 55 miles of square miles of area to cover. So we run a north unit, a central unit, and a southern unit. So that's the way we split up the county as far as deputies patrol.
Okay. Yeah, I'm learning. I just realized today this is a vast area.
Yeah, we have 6 or 7 deputies a shift out there, sometimes 8. We're uniform patrol, we're full staff, but we have a few that are at the academy and some that are still in the field training program, so they're still riding with someone, they're not on their own yet. So, but we are full staffed uniform patrol, so once we get all those deputies trained and get them on, hopefully you'll see more uniform patrol in your area.
So when folks are out patrolling their areas and then they hear on the radio that they have a shooting, do they leave their area and go to the shooting?
They can. It's up to shift cap. Each shift has a captain out there, and he designates who goes where, and if they need more officers on a certain case. Sometimes it takes more officers if you have a shooting and you got a lot of evidence, shell casings spread. Like, say you have a shooting, he gets there, or the responding officer gets there, and there's several different shell casings out there, several different caliber of weapons being used. So we have to mark all those shell casings, take pictures, interview witnesses, go up and down the street, see if we can locate cameras, and somebody's got a ring camera or blink cameras or whatever they got to try to get evidence. So sometimes it takes a lot of officers to canvass that area to try to figure out what happened, who did it, to get us some leads to hopefully solve the crime.
Okay.
So it just depends on the type of crime and how many officers are responding.
I get a lot of folks asking me about the noise ordinance, especially 4th of July and New Year's Eve, fireworks.
Right.
They know someone with PTSD, and it really bothers their animals, bothered my dog too. But so the question is related to the noise ordinance, loud cars, motorcycles. Is there anything that can be done to maybe restrict the loud noises?
Mm-hmm. Well, have an ordinance that has time limit like 10 on holidays like New Year's, as long as I can remember, shot fireworks on those. So a little more lenient on those times as far as fireworks. And if somebody has, an animal, try to put them up, in a building or a room just during the fireworks on those days, and that would help. And then somebody that has post-traumatic, maybe get some headphones or something during that time if they can pre-plan, that they know they're going to shoot fireworks on holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Any other time of year, if it's causing a disturbance, we'll respond out and, check it out. And as far as the mufflers and loud cars, it's still a violation. South Carolina has a muffler law, so you got to have a muffler on there, not just pipes. So it can be enforced by law enforcement if they have extremely loud exhaust and pipes on their vehicle.
All right.
Okay.
So if you have to see it or hear it.
Hear it, yeah.
So if you come across that repeatedly, and then you can let the sheriff's office or
Yeah,
the
that's
city
right.
know.
If you know the vehicle and/or tag number and it's extremely loud, and we'll also pass it on to the highway patrol and the 96 Ware Shoals or wherever that vehicle may be mostly, or where it's registered to see if they can get them, and then they can either give them a warning or citation if they're in violation of the law.
Okay. What if somebody would like to make changes to the ordinance? Where would they go?
County council passes and comes up with the ordinance in conjunction with the county attorney. County council does that.
Okay, so the sheriff's office
Yes.
enforces the laws, but if you want a law to change, an ordinance to change, you can speak to your official at the county council.
Yep, that's right.
Or if it's city council.
Yep.
Please ask the sheriff if they still accept donations of stuffed animals to take on calls involving children.
Yes, we do. We do that. We got a victims advocate, a couple ladies that do that. They have them as well. We'll take them, and our deputies can put them in their car if they go to a crime scene or just a domestic call, whatever, where there's children, where they may be upset, whether it be a collision, people are hurt. Just sometimes those animals are comforting to that child, so we will take those donations and get them to some victims or children that need them.
Okay, that's good to hear. Who do people contact about the state of our streets? And another question was if we're to get a new jail, a bigger jail. So those two questions came up a couple times.
Anything to do with the roads, of course, if it's a county road, the county maintenance handles it. If it's a state road or has a secondary or a state number, or US, the South Carolina Department of Transportation handles those roads. But you can always call in and non-emergency number report a issue if it's a road issue, and they will pass it on to the proper authorities, whatever road, if it's county or state road.
Have you heard anything about a new jail?
We are looking to possibly do it on the 1% sales tax and see if it'll pass
Okay.
to get a new detention facility.
And that's something we vote on at...
Yep, that's right.
Well, that's good. I hadn't heard that.
Yep.
Okay. We may have already covered this, but what do you see as Greenwood County's greatest issue with regard to your office?
Well, the number one thing that probably most people hear about, they may not see it or actually hear the gunshots, but of course we have some shootings, some drive-bys, so that and the fentanyl issue is our two biggest as far as criminal activity.
Okay.
But like I say, I think here in Greenwood, mostly, I'd say 95% of the citizens support law enforcement. We're not like some parts of the country that try to defund the police or don't support their police agencies and sheriff's office. But here in Greenwood, we have very supportive citizens here in Greenwood.
Yeah, that I did see a couple times in my, we had about 150, 160 comments, and a couple folks said, why do your officers have to be so mean? So I don't know what they were thinking when they said that, but could you address?
Right. First, if they think an officer's out of line or have a complaint, they can come to the sheriff's office, file a complaint. We'll do internal investigations. Just about every incident is recorded, whether it's a body camera in the car. But a lot of times, when officers out trying to solve crime or have an incident, they're just trying to get to the bottom or get the truth. Sometimes they come across a little blunt or maybe a little aggressive, but they're trying to solve or get to the bottom of the issue at hand. They're not necessarily trying to be mean, but when they're trying to solve something or get to the bottom of something, they're wanting the correct information, and sometimes you have to get a little aggressive or be a little stern, and sometimes maybe you're a victim and you feel like they're being insulting to you, but they're really not. They're just trying to get to the bottom of it and get the truth from every situation. So sometimes they do get a little stern.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. A couple folks mentioned, they'll hear a siren or they'll hear shots and they wonder why they can't just go to the scanner like other areas. Some you can and some you can't. So how come there isn't the ability to listen on a scanner here in Greenwood?
Right. We used to could, and people had scanners. A lot of people, they had that as a hobby, and law-abiding citizens, and that was fine. But with technology, cell phones, they could get a app and they could scan the 911 center dispatch. So people in criminal activity was using phones and scanners to track us and to know when we were called out and sent to their area, whatever. So it was actually Chief Brooks, when he was the chief of police at the city, got together and we both agreed that to have the dispatch encrypted so that people could not hear the things that were given out as far as law enforcement, where we're going to, and it was officer safety. We'd have some incidents where somebody be pulled over in an area of a crime and they'd have their phone there with that app playing and they could hear the dispatch giving out calls on the phone, so the criminals or anybody could hear where we were going, what we're doing. It's putting officers at risk.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you let the media know.
That's right, yeah. If we have something major, if we looking for somebody or if you're in danger, and we also have the code red, which are changing the app or whatever, but you can get notified if there's something in your area or countywide. We can give out information on that, that if you're in danger, whether it be a hazmat spill, to shootings, to a criminal on the loose that's a danger that we're looking for, or missing person. So that's real helpful. But that's the best way, is to listen to the news, and or like I say, if it's a danger to the media, we're going to get it to the media. We're going to put it on our code red, and I'm not sure the new name of the system, but
so there is one coming, or
yeah, well, it's still there. You
Okay.
just go on the Greenwood County webpage and sign up for that. You have to put your phone number, your information, and you'll get alerted. Say if we had an escapee, or if we look for somebody that robbed a store or murdered somebody in your immediate area and we think they're still there, it will call you and let you know to be on alert and watch out for this person, lock your doors.
So that's on the Greenwood County
page.
Okay,
go, yeah.
I don't know if I'm if I'm registered for that.
Yeah, you can get signed up, and it doesn't cost anything, but it's helpful. But it will say if something happens at 3 o'clock in the morning, it will call your phone.
Okay.
So if you don't want that, you'd have to put your phone, on silent, vibrate during the night. But still, if it was something of danger, I would think, I wouldn't think it would happen that much. It would wake you up, but it is a possibility. So
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm on question 10. I appreciate your time. We've only got a few more.
Yes.
This one deals with some folks have noticed abuse of animals and sickening. How about a mandatory spay neuter? No accountability. So I'm not even sure where that position is. The person who patrols for animals, if that's in your area.
It is. It's under my jurisdiction. Animal control. I have 2 animal control officers. They're certified deputies, just like the other deputies, but their primary job is to respond to animal calls. So if they see of any animal that doesn't have shelter or food, if they'll call, my officers will investigate, and if they find that to be true, they can charge them and sometimes, remove the animal. But all they're required to do is have shelter, food, and water. Some of them will be chained or have a lead or a cable hooked to them. There's nothing in violation of law as long as they have water, food, and shelter that they have available. If the dog don't get in the shelter, there's really nothing we can do about it as long as it's there, provided for the animal. Sure. But if they'll call, we'll be glad to investigate it and look at it.
Okay.
Yep.
What about dare or scared straight? Have we had that? Do we have that?
It's not called the dare, the scared straight like they used to, and they had those programs, years ago, but we do have a school resource officer in schools now, and they talk to the students, and if the school has any kind of curriculum or a program, they'll have the officers there sometimes and talking to students, and they're available to talk to the students there at the schools. But while they're there, they build relationships just talking to the students, in and out, up and down the halls. They see the officers, so it's not called there, but they're still there and have information, can talk to the students and be involved in the programs that they have and build relationships with officers so they understand what we do, and we're just like anybody else, even though we just wear a uniform every day. But
so does every public school have a resource?
Yes.
Okay.
We have, the sheriff's office was tasked with that. even, have, I think it's about 11 schools that are in the city limits, but I got, me and my staff got enough officers to cover all the schools in the county.
So good.
Should have one officer, and we're trying to get, like, at the high school where there's older students and, maybe some fights and some would have potential for more crime or criminal activity, drugs or whatever, to get another officer at those high schools is what we're trying to do now. But we do have an officer at every school. And of course, if they have an issue and they call dispatch, of course, our officers on duty out on uniform patrol will respond. So they're not far away.
Please ask the sheriff if his office could address poaching, trespassing on private property. It's a continuous and frustrating battle.
Most of that would be, of course, trespassing, but poaching and hunting, that would be a DNR issue. But of course, my deputies can respond, and will respond if you call if somebody's on your property that's not supposed to be there, and if we can locate them and put them on trespass notice. But yeah, if they'll call dispatch and tell them what kind of issue they got, they'll give it to DNR and as well as to the county officer or deputy in that area if somebody's trespassing.
So I remember we've done previous videos about like golf carts going missing, and please lock your doors, your car doors, because people, if it's locked, they'll probably just go on to the next one. Because,
that's right.
So that doesn't change. It's something that we can do.
That's right.
Let's see. This is my question. So I was at a restaurant a couple days ago, and I saw a sign: if you are going to use a $50 bill, prepared to have your picture taken. And then I was at Dollar General last night, and no $50 bills. So that makes me think, counterfeit, is that an issue you're dealing with here?
Yes, sometimes, yeah. We got, just the other day, we had 3 $20 bills that was seized for counterfeit. But larger bills usually are the ones they do, but they do all denominations of bills, but yeah, 50 and over. But most of those places have a pen that they can draw on it, and most of the employees, you can pull up or Google and they'll tell you what to look for to see if it's a actual bill. You can hold up to the light to see if the marker's in it. There's several things you can do, but you can go online, I'm sure, and find out, if it's legit. But if you're on a business, if you got one of those markers that marks on the bill, usually tells them if it's counterfeit or not.
Okay.
So, but if you do have a counterfeit bill, they're going to keep it and call us. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last thing, do you have anything to add? Anything you'd like to say to the folks that have? I think you answered all the questions.
Yeah.
But anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. Well, anything anybody has concern about, if they'll call up to the sheriff's office, and we have people that's been on staff here for many years, and they will help. We'll help you with whatever situation you got. Try to get you an answer. If you have any complaints, if you'll reach out to us, we'll be glad to look into it. We just want everybody to have a safe community to live in, and everybody work together. But in that, a lot of the crimes, we can't solve them without citizens' help. They see things that they feel like's out of the ordinary in their community or whatever. But the majority of the crimes we solve is because citizens are willing to help and gives us information on whatever they saw when that crime was committed. So there again, it's a team effort. We got to work together, but keep our community safe.
Well, that's great.